Hey kids, it's Jurassic James, and I'm just explains looking at the Atrociraptor. Now I know many of you have seen Jurassic World Dominion, and you're really wondering. So I went to Target, got these guys. As of right now, to my knowledge, there aren't any other Atrociraptor figures out. So these are my first in my collection of the species. So let's get started. So there are two packs. I'm gonna go over the smaller one first. Let's see. So, trying not to spoil anything. One thing to point out is that we have a raptor here in this container box, and this lady here, I remember her name, Sonia Santos, right? That shows you how big of a character she played in the movie, right? So, one thing to point out the box, you have the actual figure there, all the marketing stuff, all the back is instructions, which is not that hard. We're going to open the box with the official scissors, Jurassic James, because that's what they're here for. So, let's see, first and foremost, I will point out to you that in the movie there were 4 Atrociraptors, and they only made 3 of the toys so far. I will point out too that Atrociraptor was discovered in Alberta, Canada, in Western Canada, and it was discovered in 1995. It wasn't named until 2004 by Phil Curry and others. So the idea is that this animal, kind of like a shorter version of Velociraptor, how Velociraptor was very, very unknown to the public for a long time, and then in 1993 something happened. I don't know what it was. Well, same thing with this guy too. The idea is that this animal was known by paleontologists. No one knew it, and the public for the most part. Then it was in May of 2020 this year. It was on Prehistoric Planet, and they showed up for a brief period. I will tell you that they only found a small part of the animal's skull. This is a very hard. Sorry, I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. There we go. So, getting the box right here, you're seeing this nice little display here. Now, one thing to point out, that's not, the scissors will cut there and there. So, if you've seen the trailer, spoiler-ish, if you've seen the trailer, you know that these boxes are a part of the storyline. Santos here, not spoiling anything really, is like say arms dealer, but she's a dinosaur dealer, I guess is a word for it. So there she goes, and she comes with tiny little weapons. One of which is like the if you remember the opening of Jurassic Park 1 with the Velociraptor, they had the little prod they would shock him with. This is essentially what she has here. If I remember correctly from the movie. Doesn't matter which one I put her hand in. There it goes. And then there's a little remote that she has here, which, I think about this, even though I'm an adult and I buy these things, a lot of kids are going to buy this stuff, and I'm thinking like, you bite this tiny little piece of something and it's going to go missing as soon as those kids get it home. But, let's see. And finally, we have this door. Now, dude, that's nice. The plastic piece to keep the animal in place. Okay, let's see now. Let's see. Oh my! The door is a window, which means it goes down. Okay, very simple. So just like there's a window on the back side. Oh, in the movie they first show them in this like underground place, like warehouse looking place. So the box, of course, depicts that. And the door has a window, and I would assume. Oh, wait, there's some kind of hinge here. No. That's just what goes there. Okay. So I assume you force that in there. So yeah. So the idea is that in the movie they're transporting the raptors, and the door hole opens up, so they're inside there. That's how, like in the movie. Yeah. Okay. The point is, they're in there in this thing, and you push the button and the door opens and the raptors come out. Now, looking at the actual figure itself, I will point out that with a Atrociraptor, there's only one specimen, and it's like the top of the head right there and a part of the jaw in a rock. And people go, how do you know it's a raptor or dromaeosaur? And do you know the word raptor does not mean any dinosaur with the name raptor in it does not mean it's going to be a dromaeosaur. Dromaeosaur is the ones you're thinking of, the claw and the foot like this. There's a group called Megaraptors. There's a group called Sinoraptor. They are not dromaeosaurs. The name got really popular, again, sometime in the 90s. I don't know what happened. But the idea is that with dromaeosaurs, like say for example you were an alien who came to Earth, after humans have gone extinct, and you see fossils of like gorillas and monkeys and chimps and humans, you're like, yeah, they're all kind of the same thing compared to horses and dolphins and lizards. So dromaeosaurs, for the most part, have a similar body design. Now, what makes a Atrociraptor very different is that it's more of a taller snout. And one thing to point out as far as the figure goes, here it is. Apparently, they all have names. They never use the names in the movie, but the idea is that you have here, and they all have, all the Jurassic World Dominion figures have this thing you pull out as a DNA code to scan for phone or computer stuff or something. I don't know. I haven't bothered. But when comparing the Atrociraptor to the Velociraptor, both of the animals have been estimated to be around 6 feet long. So in real life, they'd be around the same size. The difference is Atrociraptor is from the Americas, particularly Canada. Velociraptor is from Mongolia. They would not be this tall to this human woman. They would be about that big, about half the size. So that's kind of, but they are kind of to scale to each other in the world. But they're featherless, so that's the other issue. That being said, this is blue. If you didn't know that somehow. So that's what we're looking at here. And I will point out in the movie, not a really spoiler, they've been hinting at in this franchise, that the reason the Atrociraptors are so aggressive is that they've been bred to, if you shoot a laser at someone, they hunt that person down until they die, kind of thing. So I fear that people will see that kids will see that and go, oh, Atrociraptors are just really, really aggressive. Also on the name, Atrociraptor, the Atrociraptor meaning savage, so it's like the root word of atrocity. So from my understanding of production, they were going to be called something else, and late they decided, oh, Atrociraptor. I'm pretty sure some executive goes, that sounds cool, and here we are. But the animal itself is very, very not well known. They depicted one in Prehistoric Planet covered in feathers, and it after a forest fire, use a burning stick to put it under here to use the fire flames to kill off any parasites, or probably eat the parasites. So that was that kind of behavior, super interesting. But anyway, so that's what you're seeing here at the Atrociraptor. I mean, like I said, they're just trying. I mean, I think in the Jurassic World franchise or series, Velociraptor being blue is like a good guy now or something. I don't know. So now we need another raptor group. Now, what I do like about it is the idea that they are introducing other raptor types. There was a Pyroraptor too, so the idea that it's not just one kind of dromaeosaur in the world. There's several of them actually. So that's kind of a cool thing. But again, it's still feather naked. That being said, let's see the other box. So of course, this is the one that's more movie fun too. It has Owen on a motorcycle, which you get 10 of those figures, and then 2 more Atrociraptors and a Carnotaurus with a missing horn. Now, with that being said, I will have to force this thing open again. I believe the other 2 are either named Red, Tiger, and there's one whose name fluctuates depending on which marketing material. So I'm assuming one of these are Red and Tiger. Let's go ahead and box that. So, starting from the top, we have Owen on another motorcycle. If you're interested in me doing a review of Jurassic World Dominion, tell me in the comments. I will find it interesting that the motorcycle chase scene, which was in the previews, feels like a Jason Bourne movie or something. It's a very different pace than Jurassic World franchise normally has. I'll just put that somewhere. Anyway, so if you're super into Owen and you want 19 figures of him, just keep buying those package figures of him. So that's good enough. Okay, so here's the thing. So he's on his bike. This new bike from the movie. What I do like is how in real life, in the movie, he's not wearing a helmet, but in the figures, they're clearly he's wearing a helmet. It's for kids. It's for kids, so you do that, right? So I will also point out that in the packaging, there's a helmet and a little knife. And like I said with her remote, that the idea of this tiny little knife that these 10-year-olds are getting, that will be lost so quickly, so fast. This is so much fun to pull this out of the package. Tell me in the comments as well if you guys love unboxing, apparently, or not. I don't know. There's a helmet, which took forever. Let's just peel this. You hear that on the speaker? Yeah, it's really great. Ah, there it goes. Okay, so the knife. And if you don't know Owen's knife, it plugs in. The previous Owen has a little, it plugs into his back belt. This one slides into a little holster, and then you have your helmet that you're gonna, I assume, force on. No, we're not gonna force it on. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm not really here for him. The point is, here are the Atrociraptors right there, and right here, and we'll return to the Carnotaurus. So the idea is that basically, I already assumed this. This is just essentially a repaint of this one. They're the same figure for the most part, same stance and everything. So it's a remold, which is brilliant for them on a marketing standpoint, because here we are. The other one, of course, the Jurassic World Velociraptors have always the standing version and the crouching version. So why not go there here too? So just like Blue had Charlie, Echo, and Delta, they have their own pack. Again, the fourth one is MIA. We don't know if it's relay or toy or whatever. Who knows? I'm pretty sure there will be because money. But they all have the same, like you pull back the thing and they have the DNA code. Now, in the previous Jurassic World lines, they had them on the base of the foot, but these guys have this here. So, to kind of get it out of the way, there was a Carnotaurus in the movie. Oh, there we go. And, oh, this is the beach they were on. The art of the beach they were on. Well, spoiler. Anyway, so what makes the Carnotaurus special is that one, its horn is broken off, and that we'll see in the trailers too. It's not a spoiler there. Unless you didn't see the trailer somehow. But it has this DNA code too. Now, I think the reason it's so much smaller was that Jurassic World has already like overloaded us with Carnotaurus figures. So they're like, we can't put another giant Carnotaurus after having like 4 or 5 in the last line. So we have a smaller one that's forced the package of the Atrociraptors. It could have been you could have just bought Raptors and been cheaper, but no, they did it together because of marketing. Does he do anything? Let's see. No, the tail rotates this way, the legs go back and forth, the arms go up and down, the head does this. Yeah, the head just goes back and forth that way. So that's its articulation. Reminder, the only Carnotaurus, I think there's only one Carnotaurus skull known, and it has, the horns are complete. So, I mean, could they have broken the horns? We assume so, yes. But this isn't a video on Carnotaurus. So, Atrociraptor, here we have the animals. Again, unlike Velociraptor, their skulls are more blunted and more, like, thicker. So that's something that has kind of bled through in both Prehistoric Planet as well as the Jurassic World movies. I will just use, I guess, the one called Ghost as a major one here. So by comparison, again, Blue, the Velociraptor seen here, the skull is more narrow, but as I told you before in our Raptor video, and a Velociraptor video, the narrow skull of Velociraptor, it actually dips down. So that's what makes between the eyes and nostrils a bit of a dip, which is what separates the Atrociraptor from other dromaeosaurs. Because in that world we see Velociraptor, not to scale, Deinonychus, which is closer to Atrociraptor in appearance and somewhat family lineage. Of course, there's a giant Eteraptor, which is not giant, it's like 20 feet long, so that's still pretty big compared to a 6 foot long one, right? And of course, Microraptor, who's less than like 2 feet long. So these are all the dromaeosaurs, right? And Atrociraptor fits in that grouping. Now, the last thing to point out with this animal is its place in time and space. I told you it is from Alberta, Canada, from the Lake Cretaceous. It is found in the Horseshoe Canyon Formation. And the idea is that is something where it's late. So we have the Mesozoic, dinosaur time, with the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous. Within the Cretaceous, there are subdivisions, and in the Late Cretaceous, the last two are the Maastrichtian and the Campanian. So Atrociraptor in the Horseshoe Formation is at the end of the Campanian and beginning of Maastrichtian, which is about 68 million years ago, right? So what does Atrociraptor live with? Not Velociraptor. These guys are in Mongolia, in Asia, and actually a little bit earlier. What they live with are animals like Brachiosaurus. I'm using the Jurassic World one to kind of give you perspective. It also lives with the Edmontosaurus regalius, the one with the crest on his head, possibly. We'll probably see it. This figure was labeled as a Sinoceratops in the earlier forms, but it's really a Pachyrhinoceros. So that's found there as well. As far as Jurassic World figures, they have these guys. Non-Jurassic World, we have the Pachyrhinoceros, this kind of hadrosaur with a crest on his head. The Gallimimus from Jurassic World Park. There's a Struthiomimus in this region, this part. And of course, there's an Ankylosaur and Edmontonian, to name a few. There are other dinosaurs in the ecology, but they don't have toys of them. So this is, if you're going to play a time period accurate, something like that, you'll use these animals together in this environment. There are other dromaeosaur relatives there. There are other animals there, a lot more duckbills and things, but these are the ones you would put in the same environment, living together in the same environment. So that's the big on Atrociraptor. Again, in the science community, it's only a muzzle, the tip of its mouth. So it's not a lot on the animal. But again, looking at other dromaeosaurs, you can kind of put together what the animal does. I will close with the idea of Prehistoric Planet, how the animal, and it's kind of true of the whole series, that there's a lot of things put in the series that's not like hard fact. It's like there's speculation. Now, I will say I like the idea of just picking dinosaurs as animals. That's the biggest thing. They are not monsters; they are animals. But the idea is that there are some things they put in there that was kind of like, okay. But this is Atrociraptor. If you want to have more questions or anything, let me know. I'm always willing to do a part 2 to a video. I assume with this animal there'll be more coming out, more toys coming out, because it's in Jurassic World, it's in Prehistoric Planet, it's a known species, it has a cool name. So I'm sure they're going to be making new figures next year or two. And if that does happen and you do request it below, I will do another video and kind of critique those figures, because these guys are, again, naked raptors. That being said, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week. And for those of you still hanging around, please subscribe, share, comment, do all the things. I appreciate that. YouTube's always tells me every week, James, you gotta promote more. And I'm like, leave me alone. I'm just trying to do science. So please help with that, and I'll see you guys later. Again, thanks.